Good morning, folks. Welcome to Bob's Sunday School. And today we're going to talk about Desilu Productions. Yes, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. The very first one I'm going to talk about today is The Untouchables. The Untouchable series that had Elliot Ness and the mobsters in Chicago, that was one of the biggest hits in the 60s, was a Desilu production. It got started during the Desilu Playhouse that Desi Arnaz would host. The second one is, well, The Twilight Zone. Let me explain. The Twilight Zone, obviously, is one of the biggest hits of the 60s. Till this day, even Jordan Peele went ahead and kind of relaunched the franchise a few years back. But the very first episode of Twilight Zone, or what is credited as Twilight Zone, is an episode that aired on Desilu Playhouse, and it was hosted by Desi Arnaz, so technically he's also considered the first Twilight Zone host, was the time element. That was such a big success that eventually the Twilight Zone was picked up. So we got to give credit to Lucy and Desi for one of the biggest science fiction, beloved cult favorites, the Twilight Zone, right? The third one we're going to talk about, well, it's going to be Star Trek, right? Star Trek was a show that the studios didn't have a lot of hope for. As a matter of fact, Gene Roddenberry, who was an up-and-coming writer and was getting a lot of traction, and Lucille Ball really did enjoy his writing, actually overrode the board. The board didn't want to make Star Trek, and she went ahead and greenlit the pilot. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that the very first pilot was actually not liked, and the studio went back and recast, and they added Bill Shatner, and they added Jimmy Doohan and George Takei. But what's weird is here, or not what's weird, what's great is that there was enough good material in the very first pilot that the studio came back and got it done. Actually, I'm going to go back to this. The studio wasn't very gung-ho. The studio wanted it, but the board of Desilu didn't want to spend the money because it was a very expensive show. But Lucille Ball overrode her board and got the production made. So we got to give credit to Lucy and Desi for having some of the biggest shows that exist till this day, and it's a credit to them both. Now, something that I want to touch up on a little bit, and listen, we got to give Lucille Ball credit. That woman was a powerhouse. She was a comedic genius. She was so business savvy, and she was a great actress. But we have to give Desi Arnaz some credit too. I know that throughout the years, he's kind of been considered a joke. They like the bumbling idiot. You know, he was always kind of like the sidekick. And while he might have been the sidekick on the TV show, they were a couple. They were a powerhouse couple. And even with some of the issues that they had personally, you know, this man pushed to really promote his wife, and he loved his wife. Yes, he messed up. There was a lot of issues there, but till the very end, till his dying breath, this man loved Lucille Ball. And these two people really helped bring some of the biggest pop culture shows that exist till today. And we got to give Desi credit because, one, listen, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're coming to the end of Hispanic Heritage Month. This man was a trailblazer. This is a guy that when very few, if not any, Hispanic men were doing anything in Hollywood, this guy was the head of a studio. This was a guy that if he called, everyone listened to. So a lot of credit to Desi Arnaz, a lot of credit to Lucille Ball. We got to give them thanks to some of the biggest shows that we have to this day. So how many of you guys knew about this already? Or did I miss one of the shows? Dick Van Dyke, the Andy Griffith Show? You want to talk about it in the next episode? Let's do it. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this page. All right, guys. Till next time.